G'day! In this lesson, we will build the create functionality. First, we will learn how to create a new Modal dialog form to create a new book. Let's create a new Razor page called createmodal.cshtml under the pages/books folder of the acme.bookstore.web project. Now, we'll open the createmodal.cshtml.cs file, which is the code behind file, and paste this code. This page is derived from the bookstore page model. Instead of the standard page model, bookstore page model indirectly inherits the page model and adds some common properties and methods that can be shared in your page model class. Bind property attribute on the book property binds post request data to this property. This class simply injects the iBook app service in the constructor and calls the createAsync method in the onPostAsync handler. It creates a new createUpdateBookDTO object in the onGet method. ASP.NET Core can work without creating a new instance like that. However, it doesn't create an instance for us, and if our class has some default value assignments or code execution in the class constructor, they won't work. For this case, we set default values for some of the createUpdateBookDTO properties. Let's open the createmodal.cshtml file and paste this code. This modal uses ABP dynamic form tag helpers to automatically create the form for the createBookViewModal class. ABP-modal attribute indicates the model object where it's the book property in this case. ABP-form-content tag helper is a placeholder to render the form controls. It is optional and needed only if you have added some other content in the dynamic form tag helper, just like on this page. The layout should be null, just as done in this example, since we don't want to include all the layout for the modal when they are loaded by Ajax. Let's open the page/books/index.cshtml and set the content of the ABP card header with the following code. This adds a new button called New Book to the top right of the table. Let's open the pages/books/index.js and paste the code just after the DataTable configuration. ABP.Modalmanager is a helper class to manage modals at the client side. It internally uses Twitter's Bootstrap standard modal, but abstracts many details by providing a simple API. CreateModal is used to refresh the data table after creating a new book. CreateModal.open is used to open the modal to create a new book. Now let's run the application and add some new books using the new modal form. Let's create a new Razor page named editmodal.cshtml under the pages/books folder of the web project. We will open the code behind the editmodal.cshtml.cs file and paste the following code. Take a note of the attributes hidden input and bind property. They are ASP.NET Core's MVC attributes. Supports get is used to be able to get ID value from the query string parameter of the request. In the onGetAsync method, we get bookDTO from the book app service, and this is being mapped to the DTO object createUpdateBookDTO. The onPostAsync method uses bookappservice.updateAsync. So we need to ensure that a mapping for the bookDTO to createBookDTO is defined. To be able to map the bookDTO to the createBookDTO, we configure a new mapping in the bookstore web automapper profile.cs in the web project and define it like this. We've just added createMapBookDTO to createUpdateBookDTO to define this mapping. Notice that we do the mapping definition in the web layer as best practice, since it's only needed in this layer. Let's replace the contents of editmodal.cshtml with the following code. This page is very similar to the createModal.cshtml, except it includes an ABP-input for the ID property to store ID of the editing book, which is a hidden input. It uses books/editmodal as the post URL. We'll add a button underneath the Actions dropdown in the table. Let's open the pages/books/index.js and replace the contents of the file with the following code. We have added a new Modalmanager named EditModal to open the EditModal dialog. We have also added a new column at the beginning of the column def section. This column is used for the Actions drop-down button. The edit action simply calls the editmodal.open to open the edit dialog. Editmodal.onResult callback refreshes the data table when you close the edit modal. Let's now run the application. We will now update some books to test out the functionality by selecting the edit action on the book. Let's open the pages/books/index.js and add a new item to the row action items. Confirm message option is used to ask a confirmation question before executing the action. acme.bookstore.books.book.delete method makes an AJAX call request to the server to delete a book. abp.notify.info shows a notification after the delete operation. Since we've used two new localization keys, book deletion confirmation message and successfully deleted, we'll need to add these to the localization file en.json under the localization/bookstore folder of the acme.bookstore.domain.shared project. Let's now run the application. Let's now delete the same book. It looks like the create, update, and delete functionality we created is working correctly on the UI. In this lesson, we built the create and edit modals. We also implemented the delete function using the confirmation dialog. Join me in the next lesson to build some integration tests to test our server side.